Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. So, Kaizer Chiefs played a friendly and they won 3-2. We're going to chat about that. We're going to chat about Kaizer Chiefs still looking for a goalkeeper. We're going to chat about that. And we're going to chat about the continued feeling of having Kaizer Mayo coming to Kaizer Chiefs. Before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Kaizer Mayo is coming to Kaizer Chiefs. I mentioned it in the previous video and I was bashed by you guys. I even cried inside. You know how I cried like this? Hey, I won't believe. But anyway, I stopped crying when the news came out and then I was like, I'm joking. I never said that, but you know what? I feel Kaizer Mayo is very good. I'm going to say how I wanted to play him because a lot of you are kind of feeling Kaizer Mayo can only really play as a striker. And a lot of you, I think, are kind of having this feeling that because now he seems like he is the best striker that we have, it only makes sense to play him as a striker. And I wanted to run through some few formations with you guys to show you why I feel Kaizer Mayo is more beneficial playing as a left forward than he is as a striker. And this is what I mean by that. Let's start. If we had to start Kaizer Mayo at striker, if we had to start Kaizer Mayo at striker, our left wing would most likely end up being Modi. Our right wing would most likely end up being Lilepo. Our number 10 would most likely be Mdusha Balala or Serino or Chislet, etc. That would be our structure. And what you see in this formation is that you have Lilepo, who is a constant threat. You have a Lilepo who is a constant threat, and now you have Kaizer Mayo who's also a constant threat. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying this. Why I feel I have a feeling that it may not be his best position. And you have Kaizer Mayo who's also a constant threat in goal. He's a good striker, etc. And then on the left, you have Modi, who's a workaholic, but he's not really a constant threat at goal. We know Serino, Mdusha Balala are more creators. They don't really score. So in essence, you only really have two people who can really score, and that is Kaizer Mayo and Lilepo. The formation that I want to have, and I feel like is best suited for Chiefs, is to have Kaizer Mayo on the right wing, who cuts in, have Lilepo on the left wing, who also cuts in, have Abo Serino Mdusha Balala at 10, and have a striker like Duba, have a striker like Igodaro, have a striker like Flavio, have a striker like Luke Batman. Why am I saying this? Because it means that you can score from the left wing. You can score from the right wing. You can score from the striker. You get now on the field, you have three elements of scoring. And let me give you a player profile on these guys. Lilepo can score. He can shoot from far, good scoring technique, etc. But another thing Lilepo has been showing he can do is that he can defend. He can defend, stay back, etc. And Lilepo has shown that he can beat a lot of players with pace, so he can also assist. He hasn't gotten a lot of assists. It may be dependent on the striker that we have in the box who can't read his runs, etc. We don't know, but that's Lilepo. And then you have Kaizer Mayo. Kaizer Mayo may not have the pace of Lilepo, but he's not exactly a slow player. But the thing about Kaizer Mayo is he has a sweet left foot. So Kaizer Mayo is the kind of player who can cut in and hit a rocket of a shot. He's the kind of player who can beat a player on the run, and he knows how to pick out a pass. Kaizer Mayo has, I think he has a good eye for a pass as an assist maker. And let me tell you another benefit about Kaizer Mayo and Lilepo and the strikers that we're going to have is that Kaizer Mayo scores headers. Lilepo scores headers. And then our strikers, Flavio, Igodaro, Luke Batman, Duba, these guys score headers. So what it means is that now, in an instance where Lilepo hits a high ball long, etc., there are players who are going to be in the box who can header. The striker and the winger can header balls. If Kaizer hits a cross, Lilepo can header, Igodaro, Flavio, etc. can header. Means that it opens up a different channel of our game. It even means that on set pieces, we become more of a threat because Kaizer Mayo can either take a set piece, which we don't necessarily want because he's a good header of the ball. We want him to be in the box. So when there's corners and stuff, Kanyisa Mayo and them will be in the box, and you'll have people in the box like Lilepo. You'll have a Lilepo in the box. You'll have a Kanyisa Mayo in the box. You'll have a Flavio Igota. These are people who can header, meaning that our set pieces are instantly more threatening. Another thing to this thing is that Kanyisa Mayo and Lilepo are good free kick takers. So when we get fouled outside the box, we become an instant direct threat. And what is worse is if Chislett is on the field. Because if Chislett, Kanyisa Mayo, and Lilepo are on the field, all three of those guys are free kick specialists. So it just changes the dynamic of our game so much when we have now free kick specialists both on the field and on the bench. And we're saying that even knowing what Unqobo scored a free kick. So hey, it's interesting to see that Chiefs now has set piece specialists. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about to Kanyisa Mayo. I hope you guys understand that part of it. So don't just view him as a striker. He can play other positions because he's played them before. It's just that when he's naturally a striker. If you remember Kanyisa Mayo from under 17s and stuff like that, World Cups were for the juniors and stuff, he's always been a striker. At Supersport, he's always been a striker. It's just that at Supersport, we don't know what happened, but he wasn't progressing as a striker. Then when he went to all these lower league teams like Richards Bay, I forgot the one before Richards Bay, but he started playing as a winger as well. And it improved his game because his runs off the ball. He was not relying on his striker movement. He started running off the ball. And that's another thing that I think I wanted to make people aware of is that there's a reason why Hugo Bross didn't like selecting Kanyisa Mayo as a striker. And Hugo Bross used to say, go to Kanyisa Mayo as a striker does not have the right movements off the ball. He didn't like his work rate. He didn't like his how he availed himself as a striker. He didn't feel good. He didn't feel good to Kanyisa Mayo was availing himself enough in the games as a striker, which is why Hugo Bross would not necessarily select the guy, just because he felt Kanyisa had to do more as a striker to show up as a striker, which is why Hugo Bross used to always select players like Makgopa, etc. Because he felt like Abu Makgopa and them, they avail themselves as not just as a striker, as like a player who can press, a player who can run off the ball, etc. So it wasn't just the attribute of scoring and waiting for people to pass you the ball. I think Umabasa also has a similar situation, which is I think one of the reasons why Hugo doesn't select him. So that's why I'm like, as a winger, Kanyisa can do more and is forced to do more, which can bring a better side of him, which can even bring him to getting national team call-up. Let's chat about the goalkeeper. Apparently, Goss, apparently the Siwelele guy, apparently Goss mentioned in a live, I don't know whose live it is, but he mentioned in a live that he's going to Kaizer Chiefs. I don't know what that means, but it said Guti that now it's being floating around on social media that Chiefs has spoken to Goss. I don't know. I think because Goss is in the he's in the national team. Because Goss is in the national team, it's been said that maybe Chiefs has started to talk to Siwelele to get Goss on. Would it be a good signing? In my opinion, yeah, it would be a good signing for Chiefs. I think we do need a backup for Peterson. And I think Goss is definitely better than Ubvuma. So from my standpoint, it would be good. But I also wonder if it means that Ntwari is closer to leaving. And then the last one is the Siwelele game. So in the Siwelele game, Kaizer Chiefs beat Siwelele 3-2. So good for Kaizer Chiefs. We beat Siwelele 3-2. One thing I'm not sure about is who was in goal, because we considered 2 goals, which I didn't like. But we won 3-2. Apparently, the scorers in that game of 3-2 were Duba, Matlo, and Chislett. So knowing that Chislett is getting goals in sounds good. But one thing I do know is that there's a chance that the team the the team that was playing, there was a lot of chopping and changing. Because when I watched the game, I think I saw that, not I watched the game, but I just saw the pictures from the game. I saw a lot of Kaizer Chiefs youngsters in this game. So I wonder if they actually played the whole team, or they just gave the players who haven't gotten too much of a run some game time. And yeah, I wonder if that's the case. Because if you think about it, Matlo hasn't had a lot of game time. Chislet hasn't had a lot of game time. And Duba missed one of the games. So that could be it. But I saw a lot of young Chiefs players in that game. And I saw Samkelo Zwane and stuff. So that could be the thing why we lost 3-2. Could also be that we didn't have the strongest team available in that game. But other than that, that's all I have for my Amakhosi. Bafana Bafana is playing tonight. Bafana Bafana just needs 3 points from Nigeria. I don't know if it's possible. I'm not gonna lie, and I won't lie. I'm nervous for the game. A part of me doesn't know if I'm gonna be able to watch it, cause yeah, it's just one of those nervy games. Cause I feel like I'm so nervous about this game that I'd rather watch the repeat when we win. I'm a course.